All waste shipment inspections by road, water, rail, in port areas or at waste facilities include information gathering, a physical inspection of the cargo, and the verification of all the available information to check if the data, such as the nature and destination of the waste, is correct. This is necessary to determine if a waste shipment is in compliance with the Basel Convention, the European Waste Shipment Regulation, and any other local legislation involved. Information about the shipment can be gathered not only from the documents that accompany the shipment, but also from other sources. Examples of this are data from involved authorities, such as customs, or data from private companies, such as shipping lines or transporting companies. All information contributes to a better picture of what is happening to the waste in reality. Each piece of information is part of the waste shipment puzzle that needs to be solved by the inspector. The information gathering includes inspection of the documents which accompany the shipment. There are quite a number of different documents which can provide you information. Pay special attention to the description, the value, and the amount of the cargo. Which companies are involved? What is the destination according to the documents, and is this the same information as the data from customs or the shipping lines? Is it the same on all documents? Changes or differences could be a clue that there might be something wrong with the freight. The declarations by the lorry driver or other involved individuals in the waste chain can also provide you with the information you need. The physical inspection is a visual inspection of the freight to verify if the composition of the goods corresponds with the information on the documents. A waste shipment can be highly contaminated or even hazardous, even when the documents say it isn't. If available, a container scanner can be used to expose irregularities in the cargo, which indicate waste that isn't allowed to be shipped. If no scanner is available, or if the scan indicates the freight might be waste, a visual inspection of the freight can be carried out. Make sure the waste shipment can be checked in a safe place. When doing this, the following basic safety and health protection procedures have to be followed. Don't open the doors of a container without checking if it is safe. Especially containers loaded with scrap metal are known to be loaded on their side, which is very dangerous for the inspector. There's always a risk of a cargo dropping out. You can scan the container, or if this is not possible, knock on the metal doors to hear if there is cargo stowed against the doors. Use a safety clamp to prevent injuries caused by the cargo that drops out. Before opening the doors of a closed container, check if the container is not fumigated by analyzing the air inside with a special instrument. The container can be fumigated with highly toxic and hazardous gas, such as methyl bromide, which has no color and no smell. Also, the lack of oxygen can be a risk for the inspector. Fumigation of certain cargo is required in several countries, and incidents amongst inspectors are quite common. Always use appropriate protective breathing equipment whenever this is necessary. Waste can be hazardous for your lungs. Think of chemical fumes, asbestos, or other hazardous airborne solid particles. If no gas detection device is available, open the doors and wait until the container is completely ventilated before entering. Wear safety shoes to protect your feet from chemicals and sharp objects. There are various types of boots available, each with their own characteristics. During inspections, always wear high visibility clothing to be visible for other people who are working in the same area. This is of extreme importance, especially in port areas with machinery, such as container carriers or at road checks. Use suitable protective gloves while performing a physical inspection of the waste. A container or packaging can be contaminated with hazardous substances or contain sharp objects. Different chemicals can require the inspector to wear different gloves. Make sure the waste materials are not radioactive. Apply a measurement of radioactivity to waste shipments, especially those loaded with scrap metal. Scrap metal is often contaminated with radioactive components from laboratories, hospitals, military equipment, or offshore platforms. After the information gathering and physical inspection, an inspector has to verify if the available information is correct and then decide what to do. This can be a very difficult job and is a big responsibility. The consequences can be extensive, both for the actors involved in the waste chain and the environment alike. Inspectors can follow these steps. First, decide if the load is waste or not, according to the applicable regulations. Keep in mind that legislation or policy might be different in another country or according to a different authority within your own country. This means authorities have to decide together what should happen. When the load concerns waste, the inspector should determine which type of waste it is according to the classification in either the Basel Convention, local legislation, or the European Waste Shipment Regulation. Further, they should check whether the composition of the waste matches the description on the documents, and if the waste is not too heavily contaminated. In many cases, waste is so heavily contaminated or hazardous that environmentally sound treatment or disposal is impossible. It can even be illegal to be imported into the country of destination. Sometimes it's necessary to gather more evidence when the shipment is possibly illegal or when the facts are not clear. The inspector can require more documentation from the sender, shipper or owner, or information from other authorities and organizations. They can sample and analyze the waste material, proceed to unload and check all the cargo, and take pictures of the shipment or any other evidence. This can be useful for any possible legal action or communication with the parties involved later on. When the shipment is not in compliance, or when it's not clear if there is a violation, inspectors can block the shipment when they have the legal power, sometimes with the help of customs or police. Then, the shipment could either be returned to the country of origin or be stopped until it's clear what must happen. Make sure to contact the authorities and the other parts of the waste chain, such as the country of origin, transit, or destination.